In this video, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the intricacies of MAMP and set up a MySQL database using PHP MyAdmin. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you watched the last video in this series, which I talked about how to install MAMP on your Mac and how to utilize some of the basic functions within it. So to follow along with this tutorial, what you're going to want to do is go to wordpress.org and pick up a copy of their latest WordPress 2.7.1. You can get it right here, and the download is 1.8 megabytes in a zip file. Once you have that, it'll appear either on your desktop or in your downloads folder. From there, what you want to do is actually take the WordPress folder itself and move it into the htdocs folder located within your MAMP directory. Once this is done, you can close the htdocs folder and optionally hide the MAMP program window because we won't be needing to see that. The next thing you want to do is swing back over to the start page in MAMP, and up here in the top menu you want to click on PHP MyAdmin. Now, I've already created a test database for WordPress and populated it with 10 tables, which is the default WordPress installation. But I'm going to run through the process right now of creating a new database from scratch and then connecting it to WordPress itself. Users familiar with PHP MyAdmin should be right at home, and people who are new to it, don't be discouraged. It looks very daunting, but it's actually a very simple way to create and manage your databases, and once you understand it, it's very easy to master it. The first thing we want to do is swing over to right here where it says Create New Database. And in here is what we're going to name our WordPress database. Since I've already used WordPress, I'm just going to go with something simple and go with WP. Make sure collation is selected and then simply hit the Create button. The database WP has now been created. All we have to do at this point is connect our WordPress installation to it. And this is how we do that. You want to navigate back to your htdocs folder located within the MAMP directory. And open the WordPress folder. Now, from within here, what you want to look for is the file called wp-config-sample.php. Once you've found it, open it in the text editor of your choice. Now, there are a few fields we have to change right here, but really only 3 out of all of the, I see about 9. So we need to change the name, the user, and the password of the database. So the name is located right here. And what I just named mine was WP, so simply what I put here is just WP. Now, if you watched the last video in which I explained the basics of the installation of MAMP, you would know that the username and password by default for all the databases is root. So you can go ahead and fill that in as well. You can literally leave the rest of the settings alone and simply save this document. Once that's done, there's one more step that needs to be taken in order for WordPress to be set up properly. The file we were just working with, wp-config-sample, needs to be renamed to just wp-config. Once that's done, you can close the WordPress folder. Now in your web browser, what we want to do is actually navigate to that page. In order to do that, you go to localhost : and then 8888, and click on the WordPress directory. So far so good. We've rendered the install.php page successfully, and it looks like all it's asking for is a little information. So just for the purposes of this screencast, I'm going to go with test blog and a facetious email address. Once that's done, click Install WordPress. And if you see this screen that is it's proclaiming success, then it obviously was successful. What you want to do is note this password because normally it'd be emailed to you, but if you used a fake email address, then this is the only place you have the opportunity to see it. Then click on Login. Type your username and the newly generated password and hit login. And you'll see that this is basically shot for shot the same exact thing as if you installed this remotely on a host on the web. So all the things you could do within WordPress, either WordPress.com or a self-installed WordPress installation remotely, can be done from within here too. That goes for posting blogs, editing blogs, doing a little bit of htaccess configuration, testing themes, plugins, etc., etc. If we swing back over to phpMyAdmin real quick, we could take a look at what has actually been populated within the WP database simply by hitting refresh. You'll see there's 10 tables within the WordPress database now and the WP database. And these are basically just for comments, links, there's some metadata, users, all of your posts and terms and things like that. And this is where all of the information regarding your WordPress install is stored. This version of phpMyAdmin allows you to do all the things that you would do with one that's installed locally or remotely on the internet. You can import and export fields. So if you already have a WordPress installation done remotely, you can bring it in here for testing. You can also just drop all the tables within this database, alter privileges and things of that nature. So it's really, really quite a robust system. Once you're finished in here, you can simply go back to the start page. And that is basically the long and short of setting up and working with databases in MAMP.